You're listening to the Overfunctioning Podcast, Zac and Alex's movie reviews, connecting leadership concepts and movies. Hey, welcome friends to another Overfunctioning Leadership Podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Zac.
And you're listening to another ZAMR, which is Zac and Alex's movie reviews. And today we have brought to you by Star Wars, The Last Jedi.
It's a blockbuster, folks.
Like Lucille Bluth once said, here's some money, go see yourself a Star Wars. And we did just that.
Yes, and we did not play the crane games out front.
No, we did not. I have, in my past, though, I must say that I've wasted at least $20 of my mother's back in the day.
I don't know if I've ever played a crane game, but we digress.
Yes,
this was the movie of the holiday season.
Yep.
It was full of action and stars and wars, and it was full of nostalgia.
Yes, for sure. And first night was $45 million dollars made in the first night. So this is a big boy here. And just to let you know, we guarantee two things here. And one of those things is leadership theory throughout. And the second is...
Oh, it's spoilers.
Yeah. So if you have not seen The Last Jedi, maybe not listen to this. Well, at least not right now.
You don't know what you expect if you're watching or listening to a podcast on Star Wars The Last Jedi, having not seen The Last Jedi, but this is your fair warning.
Yeah. So, you can pretty much guarantee, though, as I go into watching Star Wars, I pretty much guarantee that the light's going to win every time, right? So, we're not going to be too far off here. So it's not going to be any shocking, the dark, everybody died.
Yeah, Han Solo, we already know, is dead,
yes.
So not too many more spoilers we can give out.
Well, we'll get there eventually. So, Zac, do you want to start us off somewhere? I have so many different things I want to talk about. Obviously, we're going to give our ratings, and Priscilla here. Oh, we forgot to introduce Priscilla. She's here with little Yoda here. That's nice.
For those of you who are listening in and not watching, we have Priscilla dressed in her lovely winter attire, which is a Yoda backpack hanging over her ear. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's a very good look on her.
Yoda did make an appearance in this latest Star Wars as well.
Oh, yeah?
And I appreciated that he wasn't all CGI'd.
It was weird, though. It's weird whenever you see technology changing, and the characters change as a result. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but he was still puppety. He was like a puppet.
Yeah, but he was like a puppet made of light. But then he got more solid, and then
it's very strange. Well, so basically, Zac, what kind of the basic setup to this movie?
So the basic setup to this movie is the rebels are on the run, and the First Order, the Empire, is finally trailing them in. And so we have the fighter pilot, which his name is... Poe. Poe goes in, starts this massive assault, takes out this big marauder, which with all of the bombers, and then this woman dies setting off the bombs, which confused me because the bombs fell.
Yes.
But there's no gravity in space. Just wanna...
I didn't even think about that until just now.
Yeah.
You pretty much, as you watch this movie, you have to throw out any physics because there's noises in space, which also doesn't apply.
There's also, very explodable spaceships. You see the chain reactions going outward, and I kind of get that, but you also think that with technology, you would have some sort of failsafe.
Yeah, for sure.
But so they're fleeing from this assault, and it's crippling the rebels' last defenses. And so the movie basically begins and ends with a small detachment of the rebels, sort of headed up by Poe, though he doesn't go on the mission, sending people out to head up this infiltration of the main ship so that Star Wars can be completed with nothing really happening at the end, it felt like to me. But they end up on a planet, and you get Luke to have one last final showdown with his former pupil.
But it's like his like nephew, right?
Yes, it is his nephew.
Kylo Ren.
And I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about Luke as this goes on.
Yeah. By the way, Poe, if we're doing some homeostasis here, in which, we know the story of Star Wars, and Han Solo is a very strong character in Star Wars. Basically, Han Solo died in the last one, and he's being replaced by Poe. I'd be venture to say that's his character.
Yeah,
he's kind of rebellious and like does what he wants to do.
He's the same caricature.
Yeah.
The stereotype, typical character, but he's not. He cannot be Han Solo,
and he's not as funny.
Yeah, he doesn't have any humor.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah. Speaking of the humor, the jokes this time felt a lot cheesier. I don't know if you felt that. Like the humor wasn't there. Like nothing felt funny. Although the guy next to me might have been the best part of the movie. There were 3 times that he spoke. I don't know if you heard him as well. He said, "Aha!" When the light-speeded cruiser ship ran into the Empire's ship.
At the end.
He said, "Noise." And there was another time where he was like, "Oh ho ho," pretty great.
Yeah, well, I did realize that there wasn't a whole bunch of like funny. The funny moments came from like those little creatures that hang out with Chewie. It was like these little like flying fat little. I don't even know what they were. Yeah. They're pretty fun. I did enjoy them.
Like birds or something.
They were pretty awesome. I did like them.
Yeah, they were comical relief. They did a good job with the animals too. The different worlds animals.
Yeah, those are pretty cool.
Yeah.
So. As far as comic relief goes, not a whole lot. I was pretty serious throughout. So, shall we go through some characters here, sir?
Yeah, and let me just bring us into the characters by saying this whole movie, I felt like the tension and release that you see with any sort of, climax and relief, whatever story, prototyping framework you're looking at it through, whatever that lens is. Star Wars, at least in this one, I feel like in all the other ones, they're known for bringing everything to like the moment of absolute loss where there's like no hope, and then out of nowhere, like this relief comes through and you're like, okay, we'll live to see another day.
I was waiting for it.
And it happened like 6 times during this movie. Like it did not fall short.
Yeah, except for because of that, I think it felt a little dull to me.
Yeah.
It was just like I was waiting for one climax, and there was like 6 different ones that like was kind of confusing.
There wasn't really a big one either.
Yeah. So as far as that end, I'm trying to just like backtrack a little bit. So Poe, they destroy the ship, and then they run away, but then they realize that the Empire has them tracked through like warping speed.
Oh, yeah. They got the little triangle thing, the 3 little probes that make a triangle.
Yeah.
It can track you through light space.
So many triangles. And
it's all about triangles.
And so meanwhile, Rey was with Luke. And I would say Luke was being typical Luke from the past and now to the present he was like, it's funny how, as you watch enough movies, you start seeing that like the main character usually is pretty lame and annoying.
Yeah.
And he played that part pretty well, as he did in the past.
Yeah, even though he wasn't like completely the main character, he's the character who I think it was fake, but there was the most growth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we always talk about Failure of Nerve as the book, but also it's named Failure of Nerve because leadership in an age of failure of nerve, you have to be able to stand strong when, you're not confident, you're not sure, like things aren't looking great, but you have to trust in something, your leadership. And Luke just failed time after time. He couldn't even burn down the tree.
No.
Yoda, who's somehow still alive in the Force, had to, use his Force Jedi magic to...
Yeah, so I guess my question is this. Who was the guide in this movie? Usually there's a main character who changes through the movie, and then there's a guide.
Well, so we got how many plots going on? We got Poe.
Yeah.
We got Rey.
Uh-huh.
Luke and Rey are like in the same plot.
Yeah.
And then, is that it? What
I guess,
else?
because I felt like Luke was supposed to be the...
Luke was the failed guide.
Yeah, he was the failed
right?
guide, but he was still a guide.
He provided direction through his failure as the guide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then that was even part of it because they even brought up about failure. Yoda was talking to him about Yoda still being a guide over Luke. So many different guides. And he was talking to Luke about like how failure is a part of like being a master, a Jedi master, and like how he should embrace it.
Yeah, that little bit of Yoda wisdom at the end felt a little hollow to me. It felt like forced in for nostalgia's sake.
Yeah. I still liked it though.
Yeah, no, I think it was good.
It was needed because otherwise I think
There
there
was
would have been
nothing-
too many
yeah.
plot holes.
We also can't forget about Kylo Ren, right?
Kylo?
Kylo Ren.
His name is Ben Solo.
Yeah, Ben Solo.
Uh-huh.
And his guide was Rey, I would say. And he rejected her ultimately.
Yeah. Then, well, who was the real wrinkly looking alien guy? Like Scar? No. Slar? No.
Who?
No, the guy he kills.
Oh, not Darth, but we're gonna have to cut this out. We're an embarrassment right now.
Here, I'll look it up as you continue to talk.
Yeah. And Kylo is set up to be Snork.
Snork?
It's Snork, right? Anyway.
Wow. If you listened to us before, we butcher everything.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's okay.
Kylo is definitely set up to be the next Luke in terms of like doubting himself and failing. He's like,
You think?
he's more an Anakin, but like in that Skywalker tradition of butchering everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Do you see Anakin in Kylo?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's interesting because, they always say, blank and blank skips a generation, right? Good looks skips a generation, and intellect skips a Well, you look at Anakin down to Kylo, and, homicidal maniacs skips a generation.
Yeah, and then it skips down to the kid at the end with the broom.
Yeah.
Is he the next Jedi?
I think they were more
looks like
speaking on the rebellion.
Yeah.
Like that's where the rebellion starts. I think it's also Disney putting in a huge plug for kids like, you are the rebellion. Like, help us fight back with good reviews.
Against who?
The Empire
Yeah.
and people against the Fox merger.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. So I guess my question is this. So Rey with the Jedi power is bred from where? Like, that was the question I was asking myself. Like, what are they trying to say where the Jedi power comes from? It's not your blood, apparently.
Yeah. They're saying it's just innate in you. Everyone, like, the Force is not inherent to anyone. Like, you don't own the Force. But that's some logic I didn't stand behind.
Yeah.
Because I didn't understand how, is it Snork?
Snoke. It's like
Snark.
smoke with
Yeah,
an
so
N.
Snork.
Yes, exactly.
So Snoke, I'm always adding R's.
Yeah, he
Kylar.
was a half a man.
Kylar. I just want to add R's.
Anyways,
No, but what was I just saying?
you were talking about Snoke, and then we were talking about
So
Jedis.
Snoke is talking about. I thought that you were great in the Force, Kylo, and so your equal will rise up.
Yeah.
And Kylo, has Rey.
Yeah.
And I didn't really follow that because who's Snoke's equal? Like
Luke, maybe? I don't know.
way back. Yeah, I didn't really understand that
Unless
logic.
there's another character, yeah.
Because it's all about the balance, but like, isn't it also about like dark beating the light or light beating the dark? Like you're trying to.
Well, and then they even brought, and I didn't remember this from other episodes. I guess that's what they're called. They talked about like it's a religion. That word was actually used in this movie, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah. I know they were the Order, and they sort of had a monkish vibe.
Yeah.
But like you're right. I don't ever recall it being like a religion per se. Did they worship the Force?
I don't know. Like, yeah, they had what was there like 5 books in that tree, and they all got burned up.
No, I don't think they got burned up.
I don't think they got burned up
Did
either,
you see in the drawer
Yeah.
at the end where they pulled out the blanket? I think we were supposed to see that the books were there.
Yeah, but that was with Finn.
Yeah,
Finn
but,
opened the door. Yeah. Anyways.
but it was in the one spaceship that they had.
Yeah. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so is the Force then bred out of like? I'm just trying to think of like the main theme. Is it based out of like rebellion and hope? I feel like that's what they're trying to drive. Like,
Oh, I didn't get
hope,
that vibe.
Like, I don't know. I was like searching for it. Like, even the kid at the end, like the kids were talking and he has the ring on and, you know, there's a hope for me. Like, one day I can survive this awful place because I can be part of the rebellion and I don't have to go with whatever everybody else says.
I mean, it is a throwback to Anakin, right? That's where Anakin started on.
Yeah, well, I feel like the whole series, though, is based off of, like, this hope and the, you know, fighting back and being a part of a rebellion. Do you ever think about, I always think about, like, I wonder how this movie plays over in, like, other countries. You know, like, let's go to, I don't know, this movie drops in Switzerland. Or like France, like, do they have the same reaction to it? Because I wonder if it's just like one of those things. I think it's innate to like American culture to be like, get our bootstraps on, and like we're part of the rebellion. That's kind of like what we're bred out of. We rebelled from Great Britain, and you know, like I feel like that's part of
So
like
you're
what
saying
they're trying
you
to
think
feed off.
rebellion is part of our culture,
Yeah.
where it's not in the same way in France or Germany.
Maybe, or like if you're in a country that communism, maybe like. You know, you're pretty much told what you need to do. And here in the U.S., it's like you do whatever you want to do, and it's almost like a rebellion against.
Yeah, but you, in that same way, aren't you more able to relate to the subjects of the Star Wars film then?
Oh, yeah, no, that's what I'm
Right?
saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you were like just sitting in, I don't know, North Korea, would you get the exact same feelings about this? I have no idea.
I mean, you definitely wish you had some X-Wing fighters to to take care of
Various lands.
Yeah. So talking about this whole subjugated, good, bad, X-Wing, the thief character.
Yeah.
Do you recall his name?
I don't
He
remember
was
his
in
name.
and out so quick. One of my favorite characters. He's the guy that they hired to hack
interesting.
to do the whole biohacking thing. They dropped bio once or twice. I was really confused.
Yeah.
But to hack into the Empire starship so that they could deactivate the tracking thing before it rebooted in 6 minutes with the ship, which seems like a very narrow window to me.
Yes.
But it was interesting that he was so... my actions are not good or bad. It's business.
Yeah.
And he also made the point, the X-Wing fighters, what triggered that is he said, you're looking at all these people on this gambling planet and they're selling weapons, and look, they're selling, you know, all of these, and we look at them and we see Empire spaceships and fighter drones and all these things, and he's like, oh, and look, they're also the ones who made the X-Wing fighters. And I thought that was an interesting sub-point that they're trying to put in.
Yeah, it was interesting. His name was DJ, by the way.
Oh, DJ.
And this reminds me of another discussion we had last week, actually. You and I and some other guys talking about this whole flip of the coin kind of, you know, mentality. Like, it seemed like for him, it was like, it's just a flip of a coin. I'm not on either side, and my fate is determined by...
whatever situation pops up in front of me.
Yeah, as opposed to we have dark and light. And so he's somewhere in the middle, just, you know, he's kind of like Two-Face from Batman series, or, you know, a lot of different characters who just...
It's a very personal view on things. It's whatever is good for me is good in the moment. And good for me in one moment is breaking into the Empire ship. Good for me in the next moment is making a deal with them and getting my own ship and getting the hell out of here.
Yeah, well, I hope that he comes back in some way, because they make some of the, at least for me, I find them very intriguing characters, but I also they're like make me more angry as I watch them. Like, if you've ever read No Country for Old Men, that character in there is for sure, he's a flip of the coin. If you ever watched the movie or read the book, he's just like fate is just a flip of the coin, and you're like, no, that's not true. Like, there's so much more to life, but like, yeah, I hope he comes back too, because you want to sympathize with him, but at the same time, it's like some weird different monster. Anyways, other things. So Finn, why is Finn trying to kill himself at the end? I don't get it. Like he's like flying that little thing.
I think
on that
he was
planet.
trying to be a hero. A big theme of this
That's
movie was don't be a hero. There are things bigger than that. And we're jumping back to Poe,
Yes.
right? Poe, if we look at this movie from a step up, is the reason that everyone is dead. If he hadn't sent his little squad off to do this little covert mission on Casino Planet, then they wouldn't have been on the ship, which led to this guy, DJ, telling them to scan for cloaked ships,
Yeah.
which would have not spoiled their plan to hide out on this planet, which would not have resulted in all but, I think, one transport or maybe two transport ships
Yeah, it
made
was
it
very
to
minimal.
the planet.
Yeah.
So out of the 400 that they had, they were down to like 40.
Yeah, it was pretty awful. Interesting, yeah, because even at one point, like Luke was talking about being a legend, and like people
Yeah.
built him up to be a legend, but he didn't find himself being that way.
Yeah.
So is it like Poe, then Poe and Finn, and like other characters are trying to build themselves up to that?
They're trying to be heroes. Just running through some of the scenes in the movie. What is the girl's name whose sister died dropping the bombs?
Rose.
Rose. So Rose is that Asian girl with the half pendant.
Yes.
And she says to Finn, "You're the hero. You're Finn." And Finn, she quickly realizes that he's human too,
Yeah.
right? You have the purple-haired girl, Hodor.
She was my least favorite person.
I call her Hodor, but
I don't know. I have it here. Purple hair equals the worst.
yeah,
I really did not like her at all.
if she had explained her plan,
It was just,
it would have worked out.
I know, but it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
For me, like,
Poe wouldn't have rebelled if he didn't realize there was a plan.
well, yeah, and I didn't understand, like, her character. I didn't, like, when she died, I was just like, okay, she died. Like, I did not feel for her whatsoever.
Well, there was an irony, though, in that she was telling Poe not to be a hero, that there are bigger things than being a hero, and then ended up a hero because she put the greater cause of the rebellion above her own individual heroicism.
Well, here's my thing. Couldn't they have, like, oh, I don't know, one of the best characters in Star Wars is Admiral Akbar? Could you have not had him be that person instead? Like, the whole time I was thinking, there's a couple things I was thinking, like, where are the aliens in this movie? Like, usually there's so many different types of races and stuff, and they did increase the amount of, like, human diversity, but, like, in turn, like, the amount of alien diversity went way down, and, like, I had no connection to this purple-haired woman.
Yeah.
I'd much rather her not even be a part of this thing, and Admiral Akbar was the one who, like, died. Like, that would have, like, even though it might have just been cheap, like, like, victory for me to, like, feel good, like, at least I know who he is, and I don't have to, like, try to figure out who this purple-haired woman who doesn't seem to have a plan because she's not telling anybody and just being annoying. Like, if it was Admiral Akbar, I would have been a lot more happy.
Yeah, she has no credit with you. You know, you
No.
don't have any reason to believe in her.
Yeah.
Especially as such a newly introduced character now that General Leia is in a stasis after having used the Force to float back through space.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I like how she was, like, frozen. Yeah, she was definitely frozen in space and then somehow lived and floated herself back
So
without any moment.
this is a little bit of a side note, but I've watched maybe one or two seasons of Doctor Who, not the newest, but not the old, you know, somewhere after the reboot. But I've always been impressed with the writing such that you don't say, how is this possible? This is like outside their own plausibility, right? Like you don't question the plausibility, and you just are immediately drawn in because they don't present those questions to be asked. On an opposite side of this movie really presented me with a lot of where's the plausibility in this? Like I asked myself that a lot of times, but they do such a good job of brushing it under the carpet with the barrage of scenes that follow after.
There's a lot of things going on in this movie. Because you had to follow basically 3 different plots, maybe 4. It was hard to tell how many there
Somehow
were.
Finn is always left alive at the end in the center of a big explosion.
Yeah. How about that planet? It was pretty sweet. The part where the Millennium Falcon had to go fly through like red
They they
Salt
always have
planet?
to have a horizontal ship fly vertically through narrow
That was pretty
caverns.
sweet though.
It was
Yeah,
really cool.
It was really cool. I
Yeah.
did enjoy that planet.
There were quite a few moments where I was very impressed with the graphic rendering.
Yeah, the one, or there's a scene where Finn was fighting the Silver Woman, the Silver Stormtrooper, and in the back he's fighting her, and in the background you could see the robot, and it's killing all the other like stormtroopers behind him in that chicken like.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're so terrible with our
Yeah.
vocabulary on Star Wars. So I apologize to people who really love Star
Yeah,
Wars.
maybe we should read the books or do our research next time.
I know.
Yeah.
I refuse.
No, so,
Anyways, there's some interesting
yeah.
things. But so basically all the old characters from all the Star Wars are pretty much dead.
no one's around.
No one's around other than the bots. So R2 and C-3PO are the only ones that are left.
Yep. So General Leia is still around. However, Carrie Fisher's dead.
Yes. In real life. Yeah.
You got Luke has now passed into the Force afterlife as his cloak falls to the ground as if, the end times have come.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah.
And Yoda is a spirit who's just wandering around willy-nilly.
Wait, Chewie's still alive?
Chewie is Chewie and Carrie Fisher, right? Is
Yeah.
that?
And he's got some new little buddies.
Yeah, he's got the little chirps.
I like the little buddies.
Yeah.
So just a few things that I was thinking about from a family systems theory standpoint, as we wrap this thing up. So Rey has no family, right?
And it's a large part of her identity that she's looking to fill in.
Yeah, she's trying to. So like, Solo was like her dad, and Luke was her dad, and even it was interesting that Kylo Ren even brought it up. Like, you're just trying to find different people to be your parents, which I found interesting. And then there's no other talk of family other than with him, and we know whose family are. Like, his family is Han and Princess Leia. And I had to look back because I was like, why is he so angry? Like, how is he so angry throughout these movies? I really don't understand why he's angry. And I don't even, like, you think I would remember from, like, the last movie, but, like, I don't even remember from the last movie why he was angry. So I had to look it up. Do you remember?
No.
Okay.
He just was
So it
the
was
angry
very clear.
character,
Yeah.
wasn't he?
Pretty much just the angry character.
I was thinking it was the whole Anakin thing again, where it's like the Force is strong with you, but like also the dark side.
Yeah.
Right.
There's some of that, but there's also, like, I was reading about, like, how he, like Han and Princess Leia sent him off to, like, boarding school to, like, learn. And so, like, he was, like, since he wasn't close to his family, he was, like, mad about it or something.
Yeah, low-key.
Very,
rebellious.
very loose.
Fine, Mom, I'm
connection
going
to
to
being
go
super
join the
angry.
dark side after I kill my father.
Yeah. So that was a little strange. I'm not exactly sure how that works into family systems theory because it doesn't make too much sense. I think Rey makes some sense. Like, you're trying to find your bearings foundationally with who are my parents. I think that makes a lot of sense. But there's some pent up anxiety with Rey for sure, and Kylo Ren for sure.
And it's interesting to see where they find their identity, right? Not that we really have clear insight into that. The characters don't feel super fleshed out.
No.
But you look at Rey, and she seems to have this very solid identity of doing what's right and what's good and, like, finding a greater purpose than herself. Whereas Kylo, very individualistic. He's trying to seize these opportunities, but he also is not sure of his own capabilities, and he's very, very reactive. He's very impulsive. You see him falling right into Luke's trap, where it's a one-on-one showdown. There's a whole armada of mechs right outside, ready to storm and kill these last 40 people of the rebellion. And he
was fighting a ghost.
And Kylo was fighting a hologram.
Yeah, it was interesting. Just from that standpoint where he was very reactive and she wasn't as reactive. I don't know. As far as a leadership, which one was a better leader? I don't know. That seems to be still something to be fleshed out in the next episodes. Left it pretty wide open.
Yeah.
Movie was pretty wide open.
So let's lay this out as one of the last questions. What stuck with you? Like, what are you going to remember from this movie? So the prior Star Wars movie, you know how they're releasing like one that's not in this like storyline every other year?
Yeah, the next one's on Solo.
Yeah. The only thing I really remember from that one is everyone died, right? And I remember the blind monk guy who was just like crazy kung fu at the end.
Yeah, we loved
like that's all I remember.
Yeah, he was the
right.
best.
And other than that, like I don't remember anything else from that movie.
Yeah,
this movie, I'm gonna remember the guy who hacked in and then betrayed everyone because he was an interesting character. He's the only character I really found compelling and interesting.
Yeah, well. And that's what I was going to talk about. Like, you have to watch the first one. Like, you can't step into Star Wars: The Last Jedi and understand things because the character development was already made back in the first movie. So I would encourage anybody, and of course you probably listen to this now, you're getting all these spoilers, but like, watch the first one and then watch this one over because like, it was really hard to care about some of the characters because you're like, nothing bad. Like usually in the beginning of a movie, first 20 minutes, something has to happen to one of the main characters so you care about them. I don't really, like they were fighting. There was nothing there to really catch me and be like, man, I really care about this character and I can't wait to see them develop. Like that didn't really happen for me.
Yeah, Kylo, he was just even sadder than before, but in a way that wasn't compelling. It was pitiful. Luke was pitiful, right?
Yeah.
Like you expected him to. I was expecting a whole Rocky training sequence, Jedi style, and he, throws the lightsaber off the side of the cliff behind him and walks off. He's just little whiny.
Yeah, and so I think they missed a giant piece there where they could have used Poe because we didn't really know too much about Poe, and they could have used him to like build up at least one character so you feel like, okay, I can get behind this character. I know the other characters well enough now, but I feel like they just kind of missed out on that. So, are you ready for the scoring?
Yeah, I'm ready for the scoring.
All right, I'll let you go. Well, does Priscilla like to go first this time?
Yeah, let's let Priscilla go first.
Okay. Well, it was interesting trying to sneak her into the movie theater.
Yeah.
But we were able to do something for her, so we snuck her in with our bacon and our cream sticks because we did watch this movie at 8:45 a.m.
Yeah, and so I cooked us up 3 pounds of bacon. Alex brought in 2 cream sticks
and a little bit of orange juice.
Yeah, some OJ, and
yeah, it was delicious. So I think Priscilla, what was it? 2 barks? I think it was a solid 2 barks from her.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, that's what impressive. I was getting from her.
Huh.
She sniffy a little bit different?
No. I heard a little whimper there at the end, but I'm not really sure how to translate that.
Gotcha. Well, what do you think, Zach? What do you give this?
I was like having walked out of that movie. The prior movie with Kylo and Rey left me with like, wow, the possibilities, right? This movie, I felt like I came into it ready to be wowed, and I just felt like I was on a treadmill walking at a very slow speed.
Or like the ones at the airport where you don't even have to move.
Yeah. No, I was walking to try and get it done quicker. I would say I give it a 3.5
out of 5
out of 10.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
wow, that is a low score.
I don't think I would watch it again.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay. Well, for me, I actually give it a 3.8 out of 5.
Okay.
Yeah. So, my initial score was like a 4 because I like Star Wars and it was entertainment. Like I felt like I was watching. I'm like, oh, I'm entertained. Like on a story level. After we talked about it, I have to tell you, it did drop to a 3.8 after we talked about it. So.
Oh yeah.
And I'm actually really excited that we actually don't have the same score for this.
Yeah.
That brings me great pleasure.
Yeah, you're always a little surprised by what I give these movies.
But yeah, I thought it was entertainment. I thought it was good. Like I said, I think they could have fixed a couple areas. It was a classic bridge movie. We know a third one's coming, so it was like, let's just bridge these two together. And that's kind of the attitude I took when I went into it, because I already knew the characters, and like I already knew I liked Star Wars. So if I didn't like Star Wars, like I might have just been like, whatever. But
Yeah, kind of like the sixth Avengers movie.
Oh my gosh.
Like, you skip 2 and 4 and
pound my
5.
head against the wall.
Yeah, I don't even. Marvel is wrecking it though.
Yeah. Anyway, so I get a 3.8. You give it a 3.3.
3.5.
A 3.5.
3.5, yeah. 3.5. And I think I might be a little harsh on it, but I just have no tolerance for these like filler movies.
Yeah.
Right. And I didn't think they were doing anything that, I mean, the scene where the Falcon is flying through the caverns is like, that was cool, but nothing else was like astounding or like.
You were like, oh my gosh, this is
nothing
really cool.
felt edgy in any sense.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
Well, I think that pretty much wraps it up.
Yeah.
So go see yourself a Star Wars, get some money.
Yeah, and let us know what you thought of the movie and why we're wrong for what we think or why we're right.
And if you have any ideas of what movie we should watch next, we would gladly take any suggestions.
We would love to have some viewer input. So.
I'll tell you what, though, if it's the next Avengers movie, I'm already saying no.
Okay, so suggest that we watch the next Avengers movie and we will get Alex in a theater.
Or A Wrinkle in Time. That's out as well. We watched all the previews, and that one doesn't look good.
I'll take your word for it.
Or the next Jurassic Park. Or...
Yes, Chris Pratt, though. We love Chris Pratt. Or should I say Andy Dwyer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you like him.
Yeah. Well, I like Andy Dwyer from Parks and Rec.
Yeah. So with that, though, I think we're going to sign off here. I am Alex.
And I'm Zach.
And we'll see you in the next ZAMR.
Yep. Goodbye.
See ya.